The morning sun was bright but somehow cold, the kind of chill that didn't come from the air, but from something deeper, something that knew today would change everything. I stood near the altar, my heart a steady drum beat beneath the crisp white shirt I'd chosen with so much care. Ironed to perfection, a small blue flower in my lapel to match Alina's bouquet. I'd imagined this moment 1,000 times. The music swelling, Alina gliding down the aisle, all eyes on her. But the moment she reached me, something shifted. Her lips curled into a smile that wasn't quite a smile, sharp around the edges. Rehearsed, she leaned in close, her perfume clawing in the June air, and handed me a white folder, crisp as a freshly pressed suit. "Sign this," she whispered, her voice honey but laced with steel. "Or the wedding's off." I blinked. I almost laughed. "A prenup? Today?" She smirked, as if she held all the power. I glanced down at the folder. Pristine white paper, lines of black, ink, neat, final. My hands didn't tremble. They never did. Not anymore. I took the pen she offered, blue, same as the flower, and signed. Her eyes gleamed like she'd won. The room buzzed with hushed excitement, 1,000 eyes waiting for the ceremony to begin. But I wasn't done. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my own folder, identical in shape, but far from identical in purpose. "Now sign mine," I said, my voice even. She laughed at first, that high, polished laugh she'd perfected for society events and corporate launches. Then she looked down. Her eyes skimmed the title page. My name. Her name. The ironclad clauses Noel and I had spent nights drafting. Her face paled. Her smile faltered, crumbled, like a sandcastle hit by a wave. The cracks in her confidence started there. Hairline, fractures that widened with every line she read. Her hand shook. "What is this?" she asked, her voice a trembling wisp, no longer the commanding tone from moments ago. I held her gaze. "It's my protection, my terms. You wanted me to sign yours, but you never imagined I'd ask you to sign mine." Her lips parted, as if to protest, but no words came. Her mother, Claudine, Harrow, she of the perfect hair and hard eyes, hovered in the background, lips pursed like a queen at court, calculating her next move. She hadn't expected me to play this game. Theo stood beside her, tall, silent. His suit impeccable, but his eyes cold and watchful. He didn't say a word, but I knew he'd been waiting for the moment to step in, to control the narrative, to keep the Harrow family name intact, at any cost. But this time, I wasn't going to let them. Alina's fingers trembled as she held the pen, the same blue pen I had just used to sign her prenup. She hesitated, her eyes flicking between me and her mother. A bead of sweat rolled down the side of her face, disappearing into her flawless makeup. The guests shifted in their seats, oblivious to the storm brewing at the altar. They saw a bride and groom, a picture-perfect wedding, a celebration of love and partnership, but I saw the truth, the web they tried to spin, the trap they tried to set. I leaned in close, my voice low so only she could hear. "You wanted to make sure I was yours, locked up, controlled. But you never asked what I wanted. This isn't just about your family's legacy, Alina. This is about mine, and I won't be your pawn." Her hand hovered over the signature line. Claudine cleared her throat, a sound that cut through the room like a blade. Theo's eyes narrowed. I felt the weight of their stares, the unspoken threats, the years of carefully curated power pressing down on me, but I didn't flinch. I never did. Alina's lips trembled. For a moment, I saw the girl I'd fallen in love with, the one who'd laughed at my jokes, who'd kissed me softly under the stars. But that girl was a ghost now, replaced by someone who had learned the art of leverage, of threats and bargains, and I'd learned too. She finally signed. her signature small and precise, as though she thought she could control even the ink. I took the folder back, tucking it neatly into my inside pocket. Her eyes searched mine, desperate for a hint of mercy. I gave her none. I turned toward the guests, toward the officiant, my heart steady, my mind clear. The ceremony would go on, but everything had already changed. The power had shifted, subtly, irrevocably. As the music began and Alina's mother smoothed her dress with trembling fingers, I stood taller than I had ever stood. Today was supposed to be the day I gave myself to the Harrow dynasty. Instead, it was the day I took myself back, and as Alina clutched my hand, her smile brittle and her eyes glassy, I knew one thing for certain. The cracks in her confidence were only the beginning. If they tried to pull what they'd done to Dorian, or anyone else, it would blow up in their faces. Alina would never read it carefully, not with Claudine breathing down her neck. That was the plan. They expected me to be the fool, the love-struck groom who'd sign anything, but they taught me too well. I learned from the best, and now I had the blueprint to their own demise. Meanwhile, Mira kept feeding me intel. She found a trail of payments from Claudine's accounts, to media consultants, private investigators, even a private equity firm that specialized in debt restructuring. Every move they made reeked of control. Theo's name kept popping up. In dark corners, corporate deals gone sour, rivals who'd quietly vanished from the boardroom. They were good at making problems disappear, but I wasn't going anywhere. I was the problem that wouldn't vanish. Late one night, Mira sent me a voice memo. "Got something new?" she said, her voice low. Alina's ex, Dorian, he had a partner. Another startup founder named Josh Keating. Same story. Engaged, then bankrupted. Alina's fingerprints were all over it. My jaw clenched. I pictured her face, the one that had looked at me with such love when I proposed. Now, it felt like a mask. Every smile, a lie. I called Noel at midnight. She was half asleep, but her mind snapped awake the second I explained. "They're serial predators," she muttered. "Marriage as a business model." I nodded, even though she couldn't see. "Then let's treat it like one," I said. "Let's dismantle it, piece by piece." The next morning, I met Mira at a small cafe. She handed me a USB drive.